Cohabitation agreements in themselves are not necessarily legally binding. However, if you utilise certain criteria, if it's a well-drafted documentation, if you've both taken advice, then you would hope that the agreement would enable there to be the full force of the law behind it in terms of setting out your intentions. It is a really important document for cohabiting couples to look to enter into, because there's no automatic rights as a cohabitee if the two of you separate. By entering into a cohabitation agreement, it enables the two of you to set out your intentions as to what should happen to each of your assets and what should happen to those assets upon the two of you separating. Hopefully, by entering into such an agreement, it will alleviate the risk of there being lengthy court disputes or animosity between the two of you upon the relationship coming to an end. The number of cohabiting couples is on the rise, with children living with unmarried parents now being commonplace. By entering into a cohabitation agreement, it enables not only the cohabiting couple, but them as parents to set out what each of them wish to do with their assets and what should happen now that they have a child as well. By entering into it beforehand, it sets them up safely so that upon their separation, if it happens, they all know what's going to happen with their particular assets. There is no such thing in England and Wales as what is referred to as the common law husband and wife. Therefore, unlike a married couple, unmarried parties do not have any rights against the other automatically. Therefore, if one party owns assets legally, often that asset will be deemed theirs upon the cohabiting couples separating. If assets are owned jointly, then usually that would be the position in terms of separating those assets. So if a property is owned jointly between the parties, you would look to either have one party buy out the other party for their equal share, or for the property to be sold and the proceeds divided equally. Another complicating factor for a cohabiting couple, if they separate and if one party owns all the assets, is that if there are children of that relationship, then there are other areas of law that can be considered, so that child's housing needs in particular can be considered and met. Often cohabiting couples don't appreciate the situation in relation to that, so they might enter into the relationship thinking that they're each going to keep their own assets without consideration being given to what should happen to their living arrangements if they were to separate now that a child has been born.